Alright guys, so I'm back with another video. We're going to set up a metahuman. So it is a little quirky. There's a bug that's been in here forever, ever since the master pose was introduced. And I'm assuming that the guys at Epic Games just don't care to fix it, or that maybe it's some kind of legacy bug that isn't easy to fix. But anyway, just go up here and press Quixel Bridge right there. If you don't have a metahuman downloaded, then you're going to need to sign in right here. If you do, you can go to the computer icon, you can go to metahumans, and you can press this arrow button that pops up whenever you hover over it. After you do that, it'll pop up with this window. Just press import. Ignore this. This is for DNA. We don't need DNA in here. So go to metahumans, go to the folder that's named after the metahuman, which is Bess in my case. Open up the BP Bess. It'll take a second. On your end, you may have to bake shaders. So go into the blueprints folder under content. Go to the retargeted characters. Duplicate this metahuman Kellen. Rename this to Bess. Open it up. We're gonna just select all of. We're gonna select everything but the body for right now. Let's see. Actually, let me just see where this is, where this stuff is being referenced at. I want to right-click and go to by class member. There's 3 references to it. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and delete all of this. And we're going to select all of this. Actually, let's compile it first and save it. And then come back over into this, select all of these. I'm just going to select the LOD sync too. I'm just going to bring it all over. I'm going to Control C that. And then under mesh, I'm going to Control V it. It looks like LOD sync was already in here, so I'm going to delete the extra one. This should be a child of the mesh. It did not place it under the mesh because it wasn't under the mesh in the other one. So just drag the body over the mesh to parent it to the mesh. Everything else should be the same. Now we're going to hook this stuff back up. So right here, we're attaching the held object to the body. It needs to have a weapon R bone or a weapon R socket. So you need to, well, this is the bug I'm talking about right here. I can't actually go to it because it's all bugged out. So back in this one, just open up the skeletal mesh on this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to collapse the hand since there's 50 billion bones in there. And it looks like we have a weapon R socket right here already. I placed that, so I'm guessing, or it came with it already placed, I don't know. Either way, it's fine. So we have the weapon R socket that's set up properly. Now we need to set the body as the leader right here under this function. And then on the construction script, we need the torso. And if you want, you can open up the Kellen and go to the construction script, and you'll see we have feet, legs, and torso. Sometimes it does matter the order of operation, so I'm going to keep it in the same order of operation as it was before. The face does not need to be set up like that, I don't think. Because it uses if you go to the face anim BP and open that up, inside of the anim graph, you'll see it uses a copy pose for mesh. That's the reason why we don't need to do it for that one, because it has an actual animation blueprint for it. So now we need to not offset the head, we need to offset the body. So I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to make sure you have the body selected and rotate it 90 degrees so that it's facing forward where this blue arrow and red arrow are facing. And then compile it and save it. And then we're going to go to the widget folder down here, open up the game animation widget. And I'm just going to duplicate that one right there. And I'm going to go back to this blueprint, browse to it so it's selected right here. And I'm going to select this one I just duplicated, and I'm going to assign it to that one. And I'm going to go to the class defaults here and make sure that it has an IK retargeter right here. Now, what I normally do is I go to this gear icon and collapse all, and then find the DAO right here, and then under live retargeting, this will be the stuff we need to address. So I'm going to browse to this. Let's see, which skeleton is this? UNW. So it's the UNW skeleton. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another subfolder under here, and I'm going to call it UNW. And I'm going to shift select these two folders and click and drag them under here. Copy here. And now I'm going to assign these to that one because it will likely need different settings. So the M9 aiming goes to the aiming state. And then I'm going to press browse. M9 ready, the ready state, browse. M4A1, aiming, aiming, ready, ready, and save. Compile, save, press play. Now I'm going to run over here, and I'm going to press Shift F1 to release my mouse cursor, and I'm going to select this character right here, and you'll see that we have an obvious problem here. This is probably what that one guy was talking about. Now, that might be because we did not assign the anim class right here. So maybe that's the problem he was having. The anim class is not assigned. So if we go back over here to this, you'll see that this one has the generic retargeter anim class, and I'm just going to assign that to this, and you'll see it says none. That's a bug. It should allow us to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to, under here, we're going to search for generic animation blueprint, generic retarget. Ignore I'll show you. Ignore this one. I'm going to remove it. I don't remember why I duplicated it, but I think it was a backup, and I forgot to delete it whenever I was running my test, just in case I screwed something up. So I duplicated it for a backup, but it's not needed anymore. So now it should work. So you'll see this, but the character is floating here, so we need to go back in here, and we're just going to stop this, and I'm going to go into the front view, and you'll see how he's floating off the bottom. And right now I have snapping enabled, so I'm going to set that to 1, and I'm going to move him down right there. That may be okay, but his feet are sticking out the bottom. It looks to be okay. Actually, he's still floating a little bit. So what I might do is bring him down maybe 1 more centimeter, and we'll see if that's enough. It's okay. We could probably bring him down 1 more centimeter so that his feet are on that line right here. And we'll see if that works. Yeah, that seems to work. So now I'm going to try and see if this works. Okay, seems to work. So you'll notice that, and it's hard to see from this angle, but his aiming is actually quite off. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust those things we created. So I'm going to actually stop this. I'm going to close out of this stuff here. And then I'm going to go to the class defaults, and I'm going to browse to this. And now I'm going to dock this over to the side. I'm going to... So that needs to come over 8 on the right hand. This is the M9 aiming. So that he's aiming with the M9 right now. So I'm going to reset this right here. And now he needs to come over about 3.75 on the yaw. So this is the one in the center is yaw, which represents Z. Rotators are a little bit different. They're weird. It's like, I think it's like pitch, yaw, and roll. But that actually translates to yaw, pitch, and roll right here. So 3.75, because we want to move it in the opposite direction that it was offset. And now you'll see it's almost exactly 0. Now we do have a little bit of pitch going on there, but it seems to be fairly centered. We can lower that about 1 degree. So I'm going to enter +1 here. That was too much, so I'm going to say 0.5. And that seems to be pretty centered. So the offset of him shooting a little high, a little low, and then near the center, that has to do with the breathing that I'm applying over the top. You can reduce that in the animation blueprint if you wish by going to mesh, browsing to that, or going over here and going to characters, no, blueprints, sorry, and ABP sandbox character. And if you just close all tabs here and go to the anim graph, and you go to the pitch AO, because I believe I did move it over to the pitch AO, didn't I? No, okay, I didn't. I think I had considered that, but I ended up not doing it. So under the aiming, you'll see that we're applying this right here. Now you could move that into this right here if you wanted to apply the breathing on a per weapon basis. But anyway, this is pretty low. If you increase it further, then you'll notice it's a little bit more accurate now. So if you say 1.0 and compile that, you'll see it's quite a bit less accurate. So I'm just going to go back to 0.25. I think that's fine. And you could have something that adjusts this for maybe they level up their accuracy, and so you can adjust that. That's pretty much it for this one. No, it isn't actually. We need to adjust the left hand now. So I'm going to eject right here while he's in the aiming mode. And this is another reason why I have the aiming set up to toggle, because it makes doing this stuff easier. So I'm going to reset this one actually, because that one didn't work for this character. Those settings didn't. Each character is going to be a little different. And so you can do this as a static local offset, but you're moving it in relation to how the hand bone is oriented. And so things might seem a little weird whenever you're doing that. I don't think that there's any problem with using a static local, a static offset. And the static offset is in mesh space. So forward is actually forward, like in front of him, and left and right is actually to his left and right, rather than left and right in relation to his hand. You see what I'm saying? So it makes it a little easier to, if he's actually aiming the gun, to actually create your offset like this. So if you're okay with his thumb sticking partially in like that, then that's cool. That's just a retargeting translation problem. You'd have to modify the actual underlying animations to get it to get his thumb to be positioned differently. But you could also rotate it out like this, and then just reposition it based off of that. And so that's what I'll do, just for demonstration purposes here. And I'm just going to offset it like that. Actually, I think that looks a little funny. So I'm just going to do something like that. So his finger might cut slightly into that, so you could just lower it just a little bit. And I think that looks fine. But that's basically it for that one. And so I'll go back into it. Now, for the most part, I'll just browse over here to the ready one is just going to be default settings. And in actuality, you don't even have to assign it if you're not going to set it. And if you don't set it, it's just going to default to whatever the actual IK retargeter is set up for, whatever offsets are on it. Or if there are no offsets on it, then that's what it'll take on. If you don't assign inside of here. So if I go to my class defaults, let me just maximize this. If I don't assign anything to this, then it's fine. It's not going to cause any problems. So I can actually clear those, and it's just going to default to the class defaults. And I can show you how that works. So if I go to the generic retargeter and I open it up and I look at this update chain settings, you'll see if the PDA, which is primary data asset. So if this data asset is null, meaning that there was nothing assigned to that to this slot in here. I don't know why it keeps going out of that. So if there's nothing assigned to that, it'll return null. And if it returns null, then it will just get those settings from the IK retargeter. Otherwise, it'll get it from the data asset. That's all that's happening. So you don't have to assign those. It'll still work. And I'll show you now. So I'm just going to dock this over here again, and you'll see it still works. So I don't know what that little movement at the end was. I may have to look into that. That was a little weird. So anyway, so now we're going to do the the M4A1 aiming. And it's basically the same thing. And I just copied this one over from the other one, but because his anatomy is different, it just doesn't match up. And you'll see it seriously doesn't match up. That's because this guy has a different skeleton and it has a different anatomy. So let's just see what this says. So it's about 2.5. We need to do it on the yaw. And about 6.5 on the pitch. negative 6.5 because that was a positive 6.5. And now it's accurate. You see how easy that is? Now we can adjust the... That's why I went with this method. It just makes it a lot easier. So there is a problem though, is I did not actually straighten the barrel, so he is holding it a little sideways. So what you would have probably wanted to do first is rotate the barrel so that it's a little bit more upright, and you can actually, well, he's not facing forward, so it would be a little hard to get it perfectly straight, but you can eyeball it and that should be fine. Now this is going to offset the aim. Well, not really. It looks like it didn't really offset it. I expected it to offset it. So now we can reposition it. So I'm going to bring it back 2. And I'm going to bring it, I'm going to bring it to the right 5. And then maybe back 4. Let's try 5. 5 is fine. And now I'm going to reset this. And because of the way it deforms his hands, we're going to have to rotate this, I think. So I'm going to say 18, maybe 20. Oops, 20. And now there's a problem, is I actually unassigned the other one for this, but actually for the two-handed weapons, we actually need that one, so you'll see. So that looks fine to me. I'm just going to save it, and then I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So this is why I set it up so that we could have different settings per state, because of the anatomy issues and how things are retargeted. Anatomy is going to screw stuff up, and so what we actually need to do is stop it momentarily, and I need to reassign that ready one right here. So I'm going to just reassign that for the M4A1. And so now I'm going to go back into that state, and we're going to readjust this one. For this one, oops, I just accidentally did the aiming one, yeah. There we go. For this one, because this isn't pointing straight forward, it's at an angle in relation to his torso. Because of that, we have to actually do this in, I mean, you can still do a static offset, but it's probably going to make more sense to do it as a static local offset, because up is this way in relation to the hand, whereas the static offsets up is this way. See? And back is this way. Yeah, so this is X is back and forward in relation to the hand. But that kind of looks off. So I think it needs to go this way. It's still a little weird trying to adjust it that way because it's not moving really in relation to the actual hand. So this one, well, it's not moving in relation to the fingers, so it makes it a little weird. So I guess that's okay. Looks fine to me. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So I might look into that one problem that we had with the M9 whenever we were in an idle. We were in an idle. Okay, maybe that was just an engine bug. It's not doing it anymore. Huh, weird. Okay. If anybody else sees that, let me know. But I have been noticing some bugs that only happen the first time you run it after first launching the project, and those seem to be engine bugs and not specifically related to my project. So anyway. Whoa, what was that? Did I just get... What teleported me? I don't know what happened. That was weird. Alright, anyway guys, I will see you in the next video.